This week at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on Tuesday, March 4, 2025, resumed the oral arguments on the petitions regarding the transfer of excess funds of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth, to the National Treasury. The oral arguments will resume on April 29, 2025. The SCS granted the petition of Chito Bolatao Balintay, a member of the indigenous peoples of Zambales, and ordered the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, to accept his certificate of candidacy, or COC, and to include his name in the official ballots for Zambales governor in the 2025 elections. Finding that the COMELEC gravely abused its discretion when it did not allow Balintay to file his COC, it held that the COMELEC should re-examine whether its rule serves the interest of justice and fair play. Earlier on January 14, 2025, the SC had issued a temporary restraining order, or TRO, preventing the COMELEC from enforcing its decision, rejecting Balintay's application. The court has also granted the petition for certiorari and mandamus of Marie Grace R. David, reversing the COMELEC resolution that rejected her COC for Vice Mayor of Limay, Bataan in the 2025 national and local elections. This permanently prohibits the COMELEC en banc from implementing its resolution dated January 6, 2025, which denied her substitution. The court ruled that the COMELEC committed grave abuse of discretion in disallowing the substitution because the VID fully complied with the requirements of Section 77 of the Omnibus Election Code and is a bona fide candidate for the position. In another decision, the SC reiterated that in forcible entry cases, the key issue is who had prior physical possession of the property, not ownership. In a decision written by Associate Justice Jose Maidas P. Marquez, the SC's First Division ordered respondents Ernie Toto Castillo et al. To vacate a parcel of land in Barangay Matina, Davao City, or Lot 1957, after finding that they had forcibly entered the property. The complainant, Edgar M. Rico, was able to establish prior possession of the property by virtue of his free patent application for Lot 1957 with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. The court ordered the respondents to vacate the property. The SCS held that a victim's youth and immaturity serve as strong indicators of the truthfulness and sincerity of their testimony regarding unlawful acts committed against them. In a ponensya by Associate Justice Henry John Paul B. Inting, the SC's Third Division affirmed the conviction of Resty Lacansay for lascivious conduct under Section 5, Paragraph B of Republic Act, or RA number 7610, or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act after he molested a 14-year-old girl. Lacansay denied the allegations, but the court gave greater weight to the victim's clear testimony because of her relative vulnerability and the shame and embarrassment that would arise if the matter about which she testified were not true. Lacansay denied the allegations, but the court gave greater weight to the victim's clear testimony. Quote, because of her relative vulnerability and the shame and embarrassment that would arise if the matter about which she testified were not true. In another case, the court reminds land buyers that they must verify ownership of the land by checking the certificate of title and reviewing the records in the Registry of Deeds to avoid fraudulent transactions. In a ponensya by Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin S. Caguiwa, the court's Third Division voided the land titles of a married couple who failed to conduct due diligence when they bought the properties from someone who acquired her titles through fraud. Orencio and Eloisa Manelese purchased 2 parcels of land from Karina Pinpin, who presented certificates of title in her name and claimed to have bought the properties from the original owners, the late Narciso and Ofelia Ferreras, whose heirs denied the sale. The SC stressed that buyers must check both the certificate of title and the Registry of Deeds records before purchasing land. Relying solely on a certificate of title is insufficient, especially if there are signs of fraud or irregularity. Meanwhile, on March 5 to 7, the Philippine Women Judges Association, or PWJA, held its annual convention with the theme Propelling the Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations to Greater Heights of Efficiency, Innovation, and Access at the Manila Hotel. The convention was led by its president, Associate Justice Amy C. Lazaro Javier, and Executive Vice President, Associate Justice Maria Filomena D. Singh. Chief Justice Alexander G. Hismundo delivered the keynote address, while Senior Associate Justice Marvic M.V.F. Leonen and Associate Justices Josep Y. Lopez and Jose Midas P. Marquez led the discussions on key reform projects under the Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations 2022 to 2027. The guest of honor of this year's convention is Chief Justice of Malaysia, the Right Honorable Tun Tengku Maimun Binti Tuan Mat. In addition, sessions on the Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability, the Code of Conduct for Court Personnel, and the new Code of Judicial Conduct for the Philippine Judiciary were held. On March 3, the Supreme Court, led by the Committee on Gender Responsiveness in the Judiciary, or the CGRJ, held a kick-off activity titled We for Gender Equality and Inclusive Society after the flag-raising ceremony and celebration of Women's Month. Chief Justice Hismundo, Associate Justices Lazaro Javier, Inting, Ricardo R. Rosario, and Josep Y. Lopez delivered messages regarding women empowerment. The CGRJ also opened a photo exhibit showing the judiciary's initiatives towards promoting gender equality and inclusivity. The exhibit at the lobby of the SC Main Building will run until March 31. Finally, on March 6, 2025, Chief Justice Hismundo honored Court of Appeals Associate Justice Jacinto G. Fajardo during a retirement ceremony held at the Court of Appeals Session Hall. And that's your Supreme Court this week. I am Tiffatindy Beltran, Supreme Court Information Officer.